wanted to talk about skinwalkers. So I did not really know much about skinwalkers. Primarily, I knew about them from Supernatural, where I think basically Supernatural just said that it was somebody who was taking the form of another person. So it was kind of like a shapeshifter. So I started out doing my research for this, and I was trying to search what the difference between a skinwalker and a shapeshifter was. And well, it's a lot more interesting than I thought, because what was popping up was what's the difference between a skinwalker and a werewolf. And I'm like, okay, so it's not really turning into a person. So what I found was quite interesting, and so I'm going to kind of just more read this off, make sure I'm not messing anything up. But so our word, the skinwalker, is a translation from the Navajo term. I do not know any Navajo, so please bear with me. The Navajo term Naloshi. I'll put that on the screen. This literally means by means of it goes on all fours. So traditionally, the skinwalker is a person that turns into a four-legged animal or takes control of a four-legged animal. There is at least some traditions that do say that they can take control of a person as well. So Supernatural didn't just make that up. So the Naldoshi is a subset of the larger collection of skinwalkers called Antijil. I really cannot pronounce it. It's a little unclear the specifics, because the Native Americans don't really want to talk about the subject. So I'm not clear if the Naldolshi is specifically the Navajo skinwalker, and the other term means between the tribes, or if the Naldolshi is specifically them controlling a four-legged animal. And so if they were possessing a person or something, then they would be a different subset. It's a little unclear. But apparently the Apache, Hopi, and Pueblo also have legends of the skinwalkers, although they are primarily associated with the Navajo. I also did find information on an interview that Chuck Zukowski had with a Ute elder. I've not even heard of the Ute tribe before, but he had an interview with a elder for the show Alien Highway, and according to this Ute elder, they said it was believed that the Navajo actually cursed the Ute people with the skinwalker due to battles that they had been having between each other for territory. So that's interesting, since we consider it to be a Navajo tradition, but the Ute people are saying it was actually the Navajo who created it. So that I found really interesting. And that interview article that I found was actually the only one that even mentioned the Ute people. Between the different tribes, they each have their own different take on it, but it is mostly agreed upon that skinwalkers are deformed, animalistic, even when in human form. They have a marred face, and they have orange-red eyes, and are nearly impossible to kill except with a bullet or knife dipped in white ash. Essentially, the skinwalker is a person, like I said, who turns into an animal, takes control of an animal, or possibly a person, but they always have a malicious intention. And this comes from the fact that they have the belief that, like the Occult elder saying that it is a curse, it's kind of a curse either from a person or from nature, the spirits, because it is nobly believed that the Skinwalker was once a benevolent medicine man who abused their indigenous magic, and so that magic turned into evil. Other tribes also believe that anyone, not just a medicine man, can become a Skinwalker, and that this comes from doing something taboo. So again, if it was like from the spirits or something, it's kind of like a curse saying, why did you do this thing? Like I said, the Native Americans are reluctant to talk about this, so that's why we don't have exactly the clearest information and distinctions between the tribes. And the reason that they don't want to talk about it is because they believe, kind of like we do with like jinxing things, that if they talk about it, that is going to bring about their presence. And apparently they do seem to think that it is culturally specific, because the lore is specifically focused on medicine men abusing indigenous magic. I should have kept her name, but a Native American writer and historian made a commentary on J.K. Rowling kind of popularizing the Skinwalker, and that the Skinwalker is something that shouldn't be talked about with outsiders. So kind of, this is a culturally specific thing. However, what I find interesting about that is that you would think then that the Skinwalker would only come after Native Americans or something, but that's not the case, because, and we're jumping into this, but people have made personal accounts on Reddit and such, and apparently these often do happen on reservations, but I don't know, because I haven't read the Reddit posts, at least not yet, if these are Native Americans or people visiting the reservations. However, in 1996, Skinwalker was made public in a news article by the Deseret News due to strange occurrences that happened on a ranch in Utah, which the Ute people apparently are in Utah. These people were not Native American, they were just a family living on the ranch, and they had strange occurrences, including UFO sightings, crop circles, the death of their cattle with mutilations, and a supposed encounter with a Skinwalker. Occurrence happened to the father when he was out walking their dogs during the night. He encountered a wolf, but this wolf was much larger than normal, and it had glowing red eyes. And the father apparently shot the creature 3 times and did not even phase it. But I guess the last thing besides going into more on the ranch is that apparently the only way to prevent encountering a Skinwalker is to gain the blessing of a medicine man. Y'all need to go see a medicine man. But that's what I find interesting about them saying that it's not something to be told to outsiders, because does that mean that if we don't know that we need to go see a medicine man to not encounter a Skinwalker, you're basically subjecting us to the Skinwalkers? Or is it something like, if you don't know about the Skinwalker, you won't encounter a Skinwalker, but because of it being more mainstream, then it's planted in your head that a Skinwalker exists, and so then you can't encounter them unless you get the blessing from the medicine man? I I don't know. It's interesting to think about. And actually, when I was looking on Reddit, actually a few weeks ago, I did read a comment that did sound like a skinwalker, and I was looking at the comments, and I think people were saying that it sounded like a skinwalker. But this was some guy driving home late at night, and he saw a fox in the road who grinned at him. And I think that he said that their eyes were gold. So anyways, it's just weird. I don't know if I believe in skinwalkers, but I think that I believe in them more now than I did, knowing that it's so grounded in culture, and knowing that this ranch actually had a lot of activity. But let me know below your thoughts, if you've had any encounters, any other little insights, or just suggestions on what you'd like me to make a video about in the future. Let me know below. Till next time.